you wanted to do my Akashic record.
Yes, yeah.
So what information do you need from me to get started?
Okay, so I just need your full name, middle, if you have any as well.
Yeah, so my name is Jason Joseph Ballay.
Okay. And so do you want to do you have any questions? Or do you want me to just open up and see what this is an option. We can open up, see what they say, and then you can ask questions, or you can like some people say, I just want to know my career, my love life, or my future options. We don't have to do any of that, but if you have a specific or if you want to just ask once we're
Sure, we
up.
could definitely play around.
Okay.
We could play around with my symbol, the logo, like what does it mean from your point of view, what kind of information you get from that, and then also we could talk about the future because I'm always interested in the future, and then we can wing it. We could talk about anything that comes up in between.
Mhm.
So, so this is more of a conversation kind of thing, or are you like you
Yeah.
just get everything out and then next thing you know you wrap it up, you're kind of done, or is it like a two-way conversation?
So how I like to do it for the most part is I open up to your guide and then I share what's being shown and then you guide it however you want. So usually I'll if they like to do some sort of they share whatever they share. If we have to do energy work, that's when I do energy work. And then from there, you can jump in and ask your questions or take it wherever you want to take it. Because sometimes when we're there, like I always say up there because to me it feels like I'm going up somewhere. Um,
To the
so
clouds.
yeah, up in that beautiful atmosphere behind you. Um,
The solar system.
Yeah, they once the guides share what they need to share, that's when we can go into your questions and then you can guide it. So you can kind of say, well, that's interesting. I want to know about this or that. So I just let you have your time if they need to say specific things, because sometimes a lot of times people's guides want to just kind of clear out any lower frequencies first and then
Hmm.
jump into the questions.
Okay, we'll
So
wing it. We'll make it work,
yeah, perfect. So I'll set an
which is pretty interesting because I thought it was just a reading and then that was it. You just got your reading, but this sounds like it's more interactive, so that's pretty neat.
yeah, because yeah, some people just suddenly have something that shows up that they don't realize they needed to, or they a memory that they said, "Gosh, this need to ask this because this just showed up." Because sometimes it's really interesting how I don't know if it's divine timing or however it works, but I have had people where they were, let's say, depressed or in a dark place, and then when we open up to their records, suddenly like they have like this feeling of lightness. So it's almost like their guides need to kind of clear stuff first and get them to a higher space, or the guides like to be interactive too, I feel.
Hopefully
Yeah.
my guides are still there. They're not like out partying somewhere, hopefully the guides are hanging out.
Well, you are in New Orleans, right?
That's right. That's right. They're like, why do you think you're here?
They're like it's almost New Year's. You should be having fun. We're all
Mhm.
having fun.
Absolutely. That's probably what they're thinking. They're like, you don't have to worry about all this. Like, leave us alone.
Yeah, so I just have so I use my little pendulum and stuff because I like to just, I check I always ask, may I do energy work on you if I'm allowed, if that's what I'm being shown.
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you. So, so I'm gonna say the prayer out loud and then I'll be silent and then I'll be back. But so, because I usually like I always just stare off in the distance. Well, I'll say the prayer out loud on screen and then I'll shut my video off. Okay. Are you in a comfortable place?
I think so. In
Okay,
my
good.
comfy chair.
Yay. Okay.
Kind of excited about this. I feel like I get to experience some Edgar Cayce stuff.
Yay. Oh yeah, so I won't remember this. It usually drifts away within a day. So don't feel that I don't care. Just I think it's just maybe too much information to hold on to.
Yeah, if you think about it, if you're doing multiple sessions, you're taking on multiple people's information, it probably confuses a lot of things, and you probably wouldn't know what's yours and what's not,
Yeah,
you know? So you probably have to do a lot of clearing it all out.
yeah. Yeah, and I learned the hard way when I didn't clear. Oh my gosh, I would be wiped. It would be, I would have to call my friend to clear for me because I'm like, oh, I didn't clear enough. So she's like, all right, let me work on you. Let me take care of you.
Reach out and help someone.
Yes. Okay, so I'll say the prayer and then I'll be silent. I'll shut off my video and then I'll be silent for like a minute or two because I'm gonna wrap your name in the prayer too. And then I'll just start sharing what's being shown.
Perfect.
Okay, great. Here we go. I ask God if He will have His shield of love and truth around you permanently, so only God's love and truth will exist between you and me. I allow the messengers, the masters, teachers, and loved ones of you to channel through me out of whatever realm to say whatever they wish. I ask the permission of the lords of the Akashic records, so I'm able to look into the records of you and remove whatever information I am allowed. Okay, I'll just start because they're showing different symbols, so I'm just trying to figure out what that means. So they first have a symbol of to me it looks like um it's like the Lord of the Sea symbol. And I'm trying to it's like this staff, but they're showing it's the Lord of the Sea. So I'm just asking what that means. Um, it's funny. At first they were showing, oh, that makes sense. They were showing the Saints. Do you follow football?
Not really, but I used to years ago. I used to follow football,
Oh,
um, but it was just the New Orleans Saints.
oh, is that why? Okay. Did you only watch the New Orleans Saints?
Yes, yeah.
Oh, that makes
I
sense.
wasn't big into football like all the other teams, but
Yeah.
if I ever watched football, it was because of the Saints or LSU Tigers or something.
Oh, okay. Because when we first opened, they said saints, and I was like, okay, I don't know what that means. And then they were showing this beautiful Lord of the Sea. Oh, Neptune. Oh, that makes sense. Okay. And then they were showing, interesting. Okay, they're showing Neptune energy, but they're showing it's Atlantean. Do you know if you had past lives in the Atlantis? Because they're showing it.
Not that I ever had a past life regression and went to Atlantis, but someone else did a reading for me, and they not that they did it for me, but they did it for themselves, and they said that they saw me there in Atlantis, that when Atlantis fell, kind of
Mhm.
thing. That's when they saw me, or an image that looked like me.
Mhm.
So, but not that I ever, but I always found Atlantis interesting. Ever since I was a younger
Yeah.
kid, always, whether Atlantis came up in a TV show or a documentary, History Channel, Discovery Channel, whenever they brought it up, I always thought it was interesting. And then I'll pay attention more to that subject than a lot of anything else that was like on TV. Like, and then
Yeah.
once it was over, I just shut off the TV and just kind of like went about my day. But Atlantis and ancient Egypt and so on. But
Yeah.
that's interesting that you brought up the Neptune energy.
Okay. Do you, did you, because it's really strong around you. And I would just keep saying, because I keep asking, does he live by the water? And then they're like, it's more the energy of the ocean. Do you need the ocean like just for healing?
I don't know, but I love to go snorkeling and swimming.
Yeah. Okay, they're showing it. Yeah, that's like your medicine. So some people, need different energies, but they're showing for you the ocean energy is. Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, it just looks like you've had many lifetimes around the ocean, but in the ocean, like you're that's so funny. I don't really see this often. Like that merman energy of like you needing the sea or around the sea or in the sea. Um, but
Not,
it's what's that?
oh, I was gonna say now you remind me of that cartoon, the Little Mermaid in the sea.
Oh, how
Oh.
funny. But it's more the king of the sea. Like it's not they also showed too right after they showed the saints a warlock energy. And I was like, okay, does that mean he practices magic now? And they're like, no, but in previous lifetimes you did. Does that make sense?
Possibly. I mean, when I was younger, like a little kid, I forgot what movie it was. There was the movie Warlock, but there was also that other show, Charm, not Charm, The Craft. Now, I thought that was interesting. Like, how did they know all that information? Was it from books? So, but it's interesting. I think magic kind of runs in the family because even with my niece, she's interested in magic. And then my mom, she was kind of a little bit on the spiritual side as well. Um,
Mhm.
but kind of like she didn't want to explore it at all. But
Yeah,
but if you was to ask her about magic, she'll think of witchcraft kind of thing. She'll,
right.
no, that's witchcraft. That's not good.
But they're showing too, on her side, they're sensitive, like her mom, her grandmother. Did you ever meet your mom's grandmother?
My
So that would
mom's
be
grandmother.
your great grandmother.
Yes, yes. When I was
Did
little,
did
yes.
anyone say that she was sensitive?
Hmm. No, she passed away when I was 5. So,
Okay.
but I do remember my great grandfather and my great grandmother
Mm,
and going to their house when I was
hmm.
little.
And that's your dad's side?
Was that?
Was that your dad's side?
No, that's my mom's side.
Oh. They're showing on your mom's side they're sensitive. Like they're intuitive. Their intuition's really high.
I can kind of believe that because my mom used to see people's auras.
Yeah, super. Does, does she have a sister? Do you have an aunt?
Yes,
Okay. Because it looks like, I don't know if anyone's told you, but it looks like she's sensitive too.
I believe it. She was the interesting one at Thanksgiving's conversations and Christmas conversations. She always brought up the interesting topics.
Yeah. Yeah. So it looks like the reason why your mom would kind of be nervous about it is because she's actually just sensitive. Like she could use it if she wanted to, but it's scary. It's
Yes, yes, it scared her when she was younger.
yeah. But it's almost like too she ended up blocking it because it scared her.
You are correct. She did.
She's super gifted though. Like it's really amazing. She could see, I mean, if she wanted to, I don't, like it doesn't look like she wants to, but she could see spirits. Does that make sense?
Yes, that makes sense, but she never said anything like that to me. But, she'll see people's auras like colors and she
Mm,
also, I guess, spirits in a way, possibly because would know if someone was about to die and that freaked her out.
yeah.
So maybe, I don't know, maybe she saw their spirit or maybe she saw something, but
Yeah.
that's one of the reasons why she prayed and prayed to block it or to get rid of it.
Yeah. Well, it looks like she would have like a premonition or like a quick image of them in like a casket or something, or they would just come, almost her spirit would visit her too right before they pass, just to say, I'm leaving. Um, But she's really, I mean, it's really fascinating because they're showing she's so gifted. Um, Again, though, it is hard to grow up in that energy because there could be, you could go in one direction with it or the other. And she just didn't want it at all. Like she'd rather just be neutral, but she's still extra sensitive. Does she ever, it looks like she'll have dreams too that come true. Did she ever mention that?
Um, she did bring up dreams, as in like some certain dreams will freak her out, kind of thing. But I don't think it dealt with the auras.
Okay.
That part I don't know. She might have mentioned it to us, something along that lines when we were younger, but whenever she brought up dreams, she would just share the ones that kind of like really concerned her.
Yeah. Yeah, oh my gosh, well, and they're showing in a past life, she was a priestess.
That's what Tracy said.
Oh yeah?
Yes.
Amazing.
She did have a session with Tracy. So
Yeah, she has a beautiful energy around her. Um, it's just the interesting thing is because of the priestess energy, she could deal in the dark and the light. And in this lifetime, she'd rather just deal in the light. She doesn't want to have anything to do with the dark. But it's also because the dark it's just a heavier, intense feeling. And
right. I believe it.
yeah, it looks like she just doesn't want to have to do it with any of it. But it looks like around her there. Did she also grow up in New Orleans?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, because it looks like she could feel it immediately. Like she would just get goosebumps up and down her spine or the body when there was a darker energy around. So it just looks like she just had already dealt with it in the past life, so she doesn't want to deal with it at all. But it doesn't mean she can't open up to it, but again, it just looks like she's already had enough of that in the past life. But I guess they're sharing it with you because they want you to know you have abilities too. Were you aware of that?
Every now and then Tracy would mention something, and I believe someone else said something. Well, psychic reading, I forgot exactly word for word for what they said, but they just said kind of like abilities. And then Tracy went into a little bit more detail to where she said this or psychic type abilities. But I was like, okay. I was like, but
Mm.
I don't know. I'm not getting anything. So, and it could be just me just never practicing the certain feelings, but like sometimes like certain things will come up and I kind of be on the right path, like the right idea, the right thought,
Yeah,
you know. Um, but it comes like real quick, and if I don't like pick it up real quick, then you just lose it.
yeah. It's like, yeah, lightning fast. And
Mm.
then, right. And then it will dissipate quickly, but it doesn't mean that you can't hone in on your skills. If you want to, again, like it's not, you don't have to like go out and, make money off of it. It would be more of a hobby, but more of a gift. Because it does look like they're showing too, you also have healing hands. Did you ever like practice Reiki or anything that had to do with energy work?
But the healing hands thing, I, I mentioned this once before in a conversation, but always thought it was interesting how I knew that. Oh man, I'm going to feel embarrassed now if I get it wrong. But for the left hand takes in energy and the right hand takes out energy. Like you give energy from the right hand, but you take in energy from the left hand. Now, how I knew that, I have no idea, but I always knew that ever since I was younger. And,
Yeah.
I would touch something just as a young kid and just absorb the energy from one thing. And then with the right hand, either take the energy from that or give the energy to something else. Like usually it was like metal, usually for the most part, like a metal bed frame or wood or something,
Yeah.
or coldness, like if the underneath the pillows, if the pillows are cold.
Oh, that's so cool.
But I,
Yeah, they're showing that's from your Warlock energy. I mean, back days. You've been doing energy work, they're showing for centuries.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. I mean, you can hone in on this, like meaning you don't have to, but you can definitely, and you're very self-taught, like you don't have to, let's say you could read a book about it. You don't have to go to a class, but if you ever did want to go to a class, it just would be really cool for your own, not the ego, but just to share with your loved ones. Like,
Yeah,
um,
nice.
yeah, because they're showing your hands are super active. Like you have the ability to heal through your hands. So if you wanted to just tap into it just for fun, it does look like it would benefit those around you, but it would benefit you because what it does is you could start working on you. Like, do you ever get headaches?
Every once in a while, I don't get headaches like other individuals, but every once in a while I do get a headache, and I'm like, oh, I need to take something.
Yeah, I mean, they're just showing if you were to rake your own head like with your hands, like you could really clear it. Like you have really strong abilities.
It, I
Yeah.
did one time. My mom was sick, and I felt so bad for her. She was sick pretty bad, and I touched. I was at the foot of her bed, and I was touching her foot, maybe her right foot, and
Mhm.
the left. And I used my left hand, and I was just imagining to absorb whatever was wrong with her at that moment. And I was absorbing it, not knowing what I was doing, just trying something because she was pretty sick. And but I took on that energy. The next thing you know, I realized that now I'm sick,
Yeah.
and I wasn't feeling good. Now I'm sick. But then that night she wound up being better, and she's walking around. And she's like, you okay, Jason? I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna go lay down. And then I realized, I was like, damn it, now I'm sick.
Yeah. Right. And that was your intuition, like even just showing you though how it's a blessing, but it's also if you don't get rid of it, like the way they show it is because you were so used to doing it in previous lifetimes of helping like clear illness, disease off of people energetically. Um, and you're really a strong empath. So the problem is you already know these gifts in this lifetime, but you forgot the last step, which is to shake it off of you and to send it to the earth or to send it out to wherever it needs to go. So, but that's why if you take a class, for example, you could just learn, or just you're very self-taught, like you're really intuitive. So you could just learn your own technique of like literally if you were to do that again and replay that, the next step would be to go into the shower and shower yourself or go into the bathroom and wash your hands until that energy goes down the drain. And
Hmm, it's
like
interesting.
yeah, because it's like a shamanic energy where the shamans like literally suck in the sickness and then they throw it up. So they
Got
taking the sickness off the person, but then the final step is to throw it up and get it out of them. So you have to learn that next step because um you have like really strong abilities and you don't have to like, go in charge if you don't want to, but it's just for your own self-preservation, learning how to enjoy it and then like shake it off, get rid of it. Um You're water. I mean, I know you're fire, you're a Leo, but the
it.
water heals you. Like if you were to, let's say, if you don't have a body of ocean next to you, you could just, go into the shower and take Epsom salt and scrub your body until you feel better. And that would be the next step for you. Or you could just go outside and barefoot and ground yourself and send it to the earth.
Yeah, I do love showers. So I
Yeah.
do love me a nice shower.
Yeah. Yeah, they're just showing like
Clean
you.
it. I do feel a lot better, like just not feeling clean, but I feel like the water
Yes, it's so
does,
healing.
does something, even with ideas, like certain ideas will come to me in the shower. And I'm like, damn it, where's the pen and paper at?
Yes, exactly. It's your healing energy. Like, um, we all have different ways of healing, but they're showing that for you, water, the ocean, any body of water, a pool, a bathtub, all of it would help you.
Oh, that's pretty cool. That's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I know they I was checking your chakras too. Everything looks really good, but they're just showing something about circulation in your legs. Did you used to run?
Um, no, I was never a big fan of running.
Okay. They just want you to have more circulation in your legs. So I'm asking
I
what that.
do go when I go to the gym, I do 30 minutes of treadmill.
Oh, good. Okay, awesome. They're so
But
funny.
that is pretty interesting you brought up the legs because every now and then my legs kind of like are sore or hurt or whatever. But that probably could be from me sitting down at work because I have an
Yeah.
office.
That makes sense. Yeah, they need you to do more circulation. Like something that they were showing the blood is not flowing enough. Um, but not to scare you, but they're just showing even if you foam roll or something where or put your legs up on the wall when you get home and like lay down and have the legs up on the wall, they just want the blood to flow a little bit. Oh, they're also showing quick like 2 minutes of jumping jacks could actually be fine. Or not jumping jacks, the what's the the boxers they jump rope.
Oh my goodness. I'd rather do the jumping jacks.
Yeah. Oh my God. But
I cannot jump rope for nothing.
oh my God, that's so funny. All right, so I guess jumping jacks. Something to get just 2 minutes of your legs moving. A circuit,
Absolutely.
yeah, because they just don't want it to turn into anything. Not that it would anytime soon, but they just want down the road you to be stronger. Because they just showing
Do they say why they need me to be stronger?
no, they just want they don't want that to be a weakness for you. Do you eat and they just are showing you need to drink more water. That's so funny. Um,
Right here.
yay, yes, awesome. Um,
Since I had this Neptune energy thing going on, I figure I drink water, right?
exactly. It's so interesting. Do you it's just so cool because they're just showing this Neptune energy.
What is like Neptune, like Poseidon Neptune, or Neptune like the planet?
I think Poseidon, because it's the ocean, it's all ocean. You have a lot of water around you, and I know you're fire. Do you know your moon? Are you also Pisces? Do you have Pisces in you? You have a lot, you have water around you, which is really cool because you're fire sign.
You
Um,
you mentioned the staff, like what does the staff look like?
yeah, I'm gonna send you a picture because I was doodling.
I'll use doodling.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
and it's a version of one of these because it's also like a silver blue. I'm gonna text it to you. Oh, I don't know. That's not the fleur de lis though. They were showing like fleur de lis in the beginning, but then they went to the Neptune. Oh, what is that thing that the Neptune energy um it's like this it's a staff. I don't know. It's like a
So you're
oh,
talking
oh,
about
I'm gonna send it to you. It's called the Trident. I'm gonna
yeah,
send it.
yes.
It keeps showing this. All right, here I'm gonna
Yeah.
send them. Oh, that's why it is Neptune. Holy shamoly.
That's funny. That's funny. I am a big fan of the trident symbol.
No way. That's so cool. It says that is a weapon of the Poseidon. Is that how you say it? Or Neptune, the god of the sea in classic mythology.
I know you're probably not looking at the camera, but uh,
Oh, oh my God. That is so, yeah, that's exactly what they were showing.
yeah,
Did you
it's
see the text messages?
just upside down.
Oh my God, that is the thank you. Because I was trying to draw and I'm like, this isn't how it works. Oh, I love
But yeah, you're right. Looking at the picture you sent me, and
it.
I'll sh share it, try to share it with the video. But yeah, that would
Oh,
look like the
that's so
fleur-de-lis at
cool.
first.
Okay, that makes sense.
That's
Yeah, because
probably why I like that symbol with the fleur-de-lis because maybe it's so similar to the trident.
I think so. Because they were in the beginning, they were kept morphing into all of it, and I was like, I'm so confused because then I was like, do the saints have the fleur-de-lis? And then I was like, yeah, I think they do, but they're not showing this has to do with the king of the sea.
That's
That's so cool.
That's funny. It's interesting because in Sarah's book, they talk about the Trident, and then once when they provided information, then I was like, oh man, that's pretty cool. That's awesome. And then I became even more of a bigger fan. But you mentioned doodling. So in class in elementary, I would doodle symbols like the Trident or like hooks or whatever. So it looked like the Trident.
That is
So I
so
always thought that was interesting.
It's beautiful. And that's why, too, oh, the God of the sea. That makes so sense because in the beginning they said Lord of the sea, but then they said King of the sea. So it's also God of the sea. That's amazing. So that makes so much sense. I mean, they're just showing too, like your warlock energy, use the elements of the earth to help heal, but shift frequency, shift energies, like, and it's working with nature. Does that make sense?
I think so. Like nature, like the woods nature, or like
Yeah, like the elements of like fire, water, air, like tapping into harnessing it, I guess, the way they're showing it.
possibly, yeah. So when you mention warlock, and you probably have to educate me on that, but when I hear warlock, is that like always a bad thing, a warlock?
No, I thought it was more of like well, I guess the way they show it is no, it's more of it's like a priest energy, but of the they're calling it more magic realm. I'm gonna look it up because they don't mean it as negative.
Right. Because in that movie, that's all I knew of. I thought warlocks were bad because
Oh, let
the
me look.
word warlock. So I thought
Oh,
it was bad. But maybe it's just like the male version of a witch.
yes, that's the feeling I'm getting. It's a it's like yeah, like you know how not all priestesses are bad. They can harness energy, but it doesn't have to be negative. It can be in the light energy. So the warlock, it was more okay. This one says warlock, such as the ability to see in darkness or read in any language, to access powerful spells. So that just means, like, energetically for me, the way they're showing it is just being able to harness energy and heal people. It was more for healing. But they're showing it was also to save kingdoms, if that makes sense. Like they're showing it too as seeing it to defend your community.
Hmm. Oh,
Like
that's interesting.
almost the way that's really cool. They're showing it as you being able to defend yourself, like you could see in advance how another let's just say village would attack yours. You would then be able to outsmart them because you'd see their maneuvers like 3 days in advance.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Was that
So
like in a past life or something?
yeah, it was more for like, I mean, the way they're showing it is like more Dark Ages energy. Um, but it was to defend, keep your people safe is what it was more of a keep your kingdom safe. It was to protect. Well, that's interesting. You could see darkness coming from before it showed up. So yeah, it was to protect your people, which is um
Hopefully I did a good job.
yeah, no, they're showing it actually kept your people alive.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Yeah, so it was super cool. It doesn't show bad.
Well, that's
It,
interesting because, usually when you hear the word warlock, you think of bad things, but that's pretty cool. So this is more of the positive thing.
yeah, they're showing it to protect your people and protect, um, more to protect against negative energy. That's cool. I guess too, you had to know the negative in order to understand it or to see it. It
Yes.
didn't mean
Yes.
you could become it.
Yes, because if not, you wouldn't never know what that feeling was.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's cool. Now they're showing how funny. They're showing the Superman energy where the Superman went bad, but the good Clark Kent had to kill the dark Superman to understand it.
Ah,
It just you just need to know the power behind it, but to in order to diffuse the power. Hmm. That's interesting. And they're showing with your mom, she knew in a past life, when she was a priestess, she knew the dark and the light, just to understand it. But it was so intense to understand the dark, it was too intense. So this life she chose not to even bother. Because
ah,
it,
gotcha.
yeah, it's just too much sometimes. It's too much. It's sometimes it's too much to take in.
Yeah, this time of age, you got a lot of things to worry about, bills and
Yeah.
family. And so she did raise 4 kids by herself.
Oh, wow. Oh, amazing.
So she was probably worried about other things.
She had a lot on her plate. She didn't have enough to defend the world. And I mean, she defended her world, her little angels. Oh my goodness. Okay, so they're also showing too, you wanted to ask about your symbol, your logo.
Yes, yes, I can send it to you. Uh,
Okay.
just bear with me, because that would be very interesting to see what you see on your side.
Oh, that's why that's so cool. You know how in the beginning they said merman when they were talking about your energy?
Yeah.
Well, here when under Trident, it says tridents were used in medieval heraldry, sometimes held by a merman or a triton. So that's you. You're a merman. That's so cool. Oh, how beautiful. Oh my God, this looks like a crop circle.
Yes, that's exactly what that is.
Oh, and it's spectacular.
Yeah, that's probably a good picture that I'm sharing right now.
Yeah.
And I drew that when I was younger, probably maybe the 7th or 6th grade, I want to say. And
Oh,
I just was drawing a triangle, just drawing the lines, and then I drew another triangle behind it and
mhm.
drew those lines and just never thought nothing of it, just left it alone. And then after that, when I created Guardians of Magic, I needed a logo, and I paid somebody to create something. I just did not like it at all.
Yeah.
Then after a while, I thought about it, and I was like, I remember drawing this symbol, and I was kind of lazy. I didn't want to draw it. So I just did a quick Google search of 2 triangles in a circle,
Yeah.
and that came up, and that crop circle popped up, and I'm like, wait a minute, this is a crop circle. What are the odds that I drew this
Right.
symbol that's a crop circle? And I always thought that was very interesting. So from your point of view, it would be interesting to see what you come up with, because I did ask a couple of people.
Mhm.
So,
Well, when I first looked at it, after the crop circle energy, they showed this was it's sacred, the sacred pyramid energy on different parts of the planet, but they're also showing this goes back to your Atlantean days. Like you're really connected to all the Atlantean energy underneath the sea. Because they're showing this actually goes back to like energetically, that looks like it actually holds. Um, it looks like they're just showing it as vortexes, different energies, energy centers. Have you been to have you been to the Bermuda Road underneath the sea? Have you been to like where they had believe they had parts of Atlantis?
you're talking about Bimini
Yeah, Bimini.
Road? No, but I would like to go. I thought that was pretty cool. I thought that was neat.
Yeah, if you can go, because the energy there, they're shown as sacred for you. But this just feels like vortexes of energy can be held in that space. Like, but it's ancient wisdom that you knew coming, like you grew up knowing this. This is just in your DNA. It's just who you are. But they're just showing too, it's like vortexes of energy that people can tap into. They're also showing it looks energetically too, where crafts can come in and out of. Does that make sense?
Oh, you're good.
I don't know, but that's what they're just showing. They're showing this is like an entrance and an exit for crafts.
You're good. You're real good. I give you that.
But they're showing there's many of these around the earth, but you knew this coming in, meaning this is just your way of, you knew it as a child, but it's just bringing in the ancient wisdom. But you're gonna, it looks like also find different ones of these like underneath the sea. Does that make sense?
I think so. I think so. So I guess in a way, this is you mentioned the Bimini Road and you mentioned the sea. So like, not that this symbol is in the sea, but like
No.
maybe this symbol is energetically part of the sea.
Well, yeah, the way they're showing it is that this symbol's placed on the earth in many different locations
Oh, gotcha.
as entrance and exit points for they're showing like crafts to come and go. So you'll as you develop your skills too, like of your intuition, it looks like of remembering, you'll be able to also spot these in different locations on the earth without necessarily someone else noticing the frequency of like where these are. Like you'll as an example, you'll just see like maybe half of this somewhere in a photograph someone discovered in, let's say, off of Cancun in the
Uh,
ocean. And you'll say, whoa, that's the same symbol. And you'll just, it's almost like lining up the stars. Like for some reason, these look like energetically they're placed throughout the earth. And you'll find them elsewhere. Like when you start researching more, the way they're showing it too is like you'll be able to see glimpses of it, whereas someone else may not put the two and two together. You'd be able to overlay the image over the partial image of someone else's work and then say, hey, this is exactly what this is. They just don't notice it.
okay. It's like connecting the pieces, connecting the puzzle pieces.
Yeah.
So
Have
you
you,
mentioned, oh, uh,
sorry,
uh-huh.
you, I was just going to ask, have you seen this elsewhere too?
Other than the crop circle, no, but there is very similar to, it's not a double triangle per se, but I did see like, like it looks like two triangles, but I have seen other logos, other symbols where other companies will use that top part,
Oh, yeah.
the top part in certain products or
Yeah.
logos, stuff like that. Like there's a gaming chair that uses that symbol, and it looks very similar to the new Reebok if you just look at the top triangle. And then also there was a pharmaceutical company that had multiple of that symbol, but it made a circle just with that one symbol,
Oh,
with the triangle part, just the top triangle part. And I was
wow.
like, what are the odds that this symbol just keeps popping up,
Right.
like that?
Yeah, amazing.
But that's pretty cool. You mentioned craft, and I was going to ask you when you say craft, are you talking like what kind of craft are you talking about? Like, what do you see? Like, are we talking about UFO crafts or are we talking about spaceships?
Yeah, well, they're just showing as interdimensional craft. So
Okay.
UFOs, interdimensional spacecraft, I guess that's what they're showing. I
Uh-huh.
don't, it's just almost like energetically it has to shape shift in a way. They're showing it as it has to shift in the energy of like the molecules in order to connect and go through this energy. It's almost like it redirects the energy, but it makes them smaller. Does that make
Uh-huh. Like it shrinks the
Yeah,
energy down.
it looks like it can shrink it so it can get to a place faster. Almost,
Interesting. So
yeah.
so to give you more information, the reason why I kept on saying, "Oh, you're pretty good. This is." You good? Because for the people listening to the podcast, so I'm the one that I am sharing the crop circle of the double triangle within a circle, and I use this symbol in Guardians of Magic, and this is their version of a Stargate, a portal for them to travel to in that storyline, to travel in other dimensions and other worlds. So they're using the symbol to travel. So that's why I was like, oh, you're pretty damn good. Either that, you read my books, one of the two.
No, I'm sorry. I haven't haven't read anything lately.
Well, at least I feel better that I was on the right path with the symbol, using it as a, because I was like, well, I'm just going to use this. This is a star. I'm going to make it into a Stargate so these guys can like use
Yeah,
this symbol to travel and it'll be part of the Guardians of Magic logo.
it's
That's
beautiful.
funny.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome. It's very powerful.
And you mentioned interdimensional and vortexes and energy. So that's very similar to what another person said. And I'm pretty sure that was Tracy when she did a reading with Daniel.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it's amazing. It's really, I mean, energetically, it feels beautiful. It feels powerful, but it also feels like a place where there's so much you can like there's so much in there. And it's just like, oh, you can actually go in there and then find a million different realms. That's what it
Ah,
feels like.
that's cool. Well, let me ask you this. Um, I know I put this in the storyline for Guardians of Magic, but is there another reason for this? Like, is this something that we're going to use in the future? Is there like a higher purpose for this?
I mean, the way they're showing it is you're recalling this from the past. So you've already had this in um your DNA memory, your cosmic memory from your when you were in the Atlantean time. So you're recalling this from, I mean, they're showing thousands of years ago to bring it into the collective consciousness now so that people can remember where they're coming from, who they are, where they come from in terms of those that are star beings, arriving here or um, trying to remember why we're all here, what the purpose, but also remember where home is. So there's so much information just from that alone, but you're allowing people to connect and almost have this download of information when they look at it. It's like, oh, this is powerful. Oh, I'm powerful. I'm not just a zombie type human. I'm actually this.
Gotcha. Another thing that I thought was interesting, if I ain't mistaken, I think that Crop Circle came out in 2012, and that's kind of like when I started buying Edgar Cayce's books and some other books for the metaphysical stuff.
Mhm.
So,
Amazing. Yeah, that's so cool. But it's so cool because it's like aligning. It looks like you're gonna also find these in many different parts of the earth, and you'll be able to notice them. Even if someone doesn't, you'll be able to see, whoa, this is perfectly placed here. These are really strong vortexes of energy. But again, like it looks like too, just people seeing it, it's going to allow them that galactic memory too of, oh, we're here for a reason. We're not here just to, go through the daily activities and sleep and then watch TV and do it all over again.
oh, come on, no Netflix?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
life is a little bit more than all that, right?
yeah, but it's good because you're imprinting, you're reminding them too. It's almost like the way they're showing it, that's a awakening symbol. It's awakening that ancient wisdom inside of them because it was obvious. It feels like it was those, let's say, trying to control certain situations, love that people forget these ancient symbols, and so you're allowing these ancient symbols back so that you can help people remember and awaken to their own divinity.
Huh, interesting. It's almost like breadcrumbs for them.
Yes, yes. But it's beautiful because it's subtle enough where you're not, you're not wearing a tinfoil cap and they're going to run away from it. They're going to be intrigued. Oh, what is this? Oh my gosh, why does this look familiar? Why am I having really cool dreams at night? It's really awesome. The way they're showing it is like you're opening their pineal gland with it, if that makes sense.
Yes, part of like probably something awakens in them kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. It's really beautiful. Lord of the Sea, you Mr. King Neptune. That's what you're here for.
Before somebody starts saying anything, is it the king of the sea or the god of the sea like energy or like are they saying like yeah he was like a god of the sea? Because then they'd be like oh Lord here we go.
No, no, it's you're the essence. You're part of it. You're part of we all have energy we come in that can help keep us strong. And yours is that energy to keep you strong. That King Neptune energy, that Lord of the Sea, God of the Sea. It's just you can call on that to keep you strong. We all have
Oh, okay.
animal spirits and our power symbols and but you have that as your protector. Like that's part of it's part of who you are, but it's also it's such a grandiose, it's so huge that you can call on it to keep you strong. Like you have that as your, let's say, extra bodyguard. So you're part of it, but it's really there to also support you.
Gotcha. So it's like I'm a part of that energy kind of thing.
Yes, yes, exactly.
Huh. That might be why I like cruises so much.
Yeah, and why the ocean and the water, like even they're showing just you looking at like turquoise blue water, like that beautiful teal water. It just heals you, even just on a vibrational, just a visual energy of just seeing it heals you.
Hmm. Very, very interesting. I do feel better when I'm on cruises, but I always thought because I wasn't working.
Oh oh my gosh, so funny.
I was
Do
like,
you
yeah, the reason why I feel so good is because I'm not at work.
Yeah, no, because you're on the water, you're by your element.
Yeah, yeah, because sometimes you're in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah. But they're showing too if you can somehow get to a place, even if it's in Bimini or in the Bahamas, somewhere with that turquoise blue, where you're like swimming with dolphins, like it will just if you ever need extra healing, try to get there. Wherever that is, you need to like that's just your one of your magical places to heal.
I do like Bahamas. I really do.
Oh, nice. Oh, you should try to go snorkeling where around that. Um,
Anytime I have a chance, I do it. I've done it a few times.
oh good. Yeah, Bimini Road. Is that what it's called? Bimini Road? Or what is the road there that is that in the Bimini Road? Is that what it's called?
Yes, so it's part, I think it's a little bit outside of Bahamas, but that is also Bimini Road where Edgar Cayce talked about it, where that
Mm.
energy was left behind.
Oh,
Not saying that was part of Atlantis, but they constructed that because they wanted to get closer and closer to that Atlantean type energy of that signature essence of them feeling felt so familiar to them.
if
That's one
you
of the stories I heard.
yeah, no, they're showing if you can get there, that will activate you too and more of your intuition.
So I got to go to Bimini Road.
Yes, because
Oh,
it's gonna activate your like super senses, the way they're calling it.
I'm gonna have to plan a big trip then. I have to
Yeah,
get a special boat.
that was fun. Yes. You might be able to start doing charters for people.
Get on the boat, people.
Oh, let's go to Bimini Road. Oh my gosh, can you invite me? I'll come.
Gonna need a whole group. Gonna need a whole posse.
Right? Oh my God, so much fun. Do you have any more questions?
No, is there anything I do, but before
Go
we
for
move
it.
forward, do you
There you
have
go.
anything else?
No, no, you go for whatever question you want.
You mentioned the Atlantis thing. Do you have anything else that mentions or talks about Atlantis? Because I'm always a big fan to hear information about it.
If you can also, it's so funny. They're really funny. They really want you to activate your super senses. Um, and I never heard of it like the super senses, so it's really fun. If you can, they're so funny. They're saying if you could start talking to crystals and waiting for what the crystal says back. Do you already do that, or do you have any crystals around you?
Yeah, matter of fact, there's two right here, and I have a whole tray in the other room.
Oh, I love it. Beautiful. Yeah, they were showing quartz, they were showing smoky quartz, they were showing citrine, they were showing aquamarine. How much fun.
Yeah, so you got to ask them like, that's all fine and dandy, but how do I do all this? How do I access all this great stuff?
Well, I know the way they're showing it is like literally just playing in it, like literally like for jokes. Just say, Crystal, what are you gonna tell me today? And like have fun. Just wait.
Oh, gotcha. Just play around with it.
Play around with it because the more you play in it, the more you'll be like, no way, there's no way they could have just said that. But they're showing for you, they want you to activate. You have so much energy in your hands, so they need you to start activating it. But they're showing too, you can do it with crystals if you want, just to see, like to the point of they're showing as an example. Some people do it as practice when you meditate and you hold an essential oil in your hand and you just smell it, breathe it in, hold it for like 5 to 10 seconds, and then say, what purpose? What are you here? What is one of your benefits? And like literally, it will be very strange, but you'll hear an answer, and it's just so that you can start getting in touch with. You have very strong intuition, and they just want you to keep in that space of trusting.
Keep working on it.
Yeah, yeah. Like they're just showing as an example, they were showing like lemon oil or something. And like the first thing I heard was anti-parasitic, like just something like that, like, and then research, find out what could this really be that? And then you can look it up and say, oh, it is. Isn't that amazing? Because they want you to start feeling comfortable in your own skin where they need you to remember who you are.
Ooh, remember who I am. Well, I don't know. It sounds like there's a lot of things going on with me. So which one am I supposed to remember the most?
Super
Got
fun.
warlock things going on. King of the sea, Lord, God of the sea.
Mhm.
With that being said, if they want me to remember more and play with this energy to get into more of this energy, and I know you mentioned earlier about the future. Are they talking about anything about the future for me?
The way they're showing it is they're showing it with it's really interesting. They're showing it kind of like an old professor like they're showing it like a college professor, but I'm just asking what that means. Like they're showing an old college gown. I guess the way they're showing it is
Like a
like
teacher?
yeah, it's like an ancient, but it's an ancient. It's not like a gown. It's not. It's like the where it looks like how college professors used to teach, like where they would have this long, like kind of coat, but they just want you to, it's you're sharing the wisdom of the past and you're presenting it now. So it's more of a professor's role of sharing the wisdom with others. So you're supposed to be, which you're already doing, it looks like now, but they want you to and maybe enjoy it more. And they're showing if you need to also um dive into that realm more full time, it does look like the professor role. Have you written a lot of books? Because they're showing books around you. So I'm just wondering, have you already written many or have you only written a few?
Maybe just a few small books, like one still needs to be finished. I never finished it. I just got too busy, but they're like small books. Two books was for Guardians of Magic, and then one was like personal finance kind of thing, growing your investments. And that was just like a hobby, just to do it, just get it out the way kind of thing.
Nice. Because they're showing this is more of a writing. Well, that's fun. They just show Graham Hancock. You know, you know how Graham Hancock, it looks like he's just on his own mission,
Uh-huh.
fighting the good fight, the way they're showing it. They,
Right.
if you want to share your wisdom down the road too, in that realm of just fighting the good fight, however it comes to you, because they do want you to write more. They want you to have more of a professor energy of sharing your wisdom with others.
Uh,
Um, and it doesn't, there's no time frame. They don't want you to worry about like you have to rush into this. No, this is more for you to relax and enjoy the information that comes because it's really ancient wisdom coming forward through you. So, um, but they do want you to kind of dive into that more because it looks like the more you dive into it, the more information is going to show up for you. Does that make sense?
I think so because I noticed as I'm working on, like, for example, the series of Guardians of Magic, for example, when I am working on that, like certain things will come forward, certain ideas, and then come to find out, it's connected or related to something else that's on the metaphysical or
Yeah.
connected in this lifetime kind of thing. So
Yeah, it's so much fun because they don't want you to be stressed in it. They want you to enjoy it, like have it like a part-time job that eventually you can share with others so that it may shift into more of a full-time job. Does that make sense?
I think so. Maybe they can answer this part. Should I take it? Because right now it's more of a story, but I also would like to take it into like a comic book phase to where it's
Mhm.
more pictures and graphics.
They're showing definitely.
Oh, gotcha.
Because
That
then
was a
they're,
part that was
oh,
I was
sorry.
questioning going back and forth on.
Yeah, they're showing definitely because the comic book could then turn into, let's just say something like, is it the Marvel series?
Yes, that's one of them. Uh-huh.
Yep. So it's kind of like that where your comic books could turn into something like that because that is gonna exhaust itself. It can only go so far. So now that let's just say yours looks energetically more like new age, more a
Yes,
little more metaphysical.
that was part of the goal to kind of like throw in some new age type information into it. So as people are reading these books, they'll be like, "Oh, what's this meaning?" Whether it's the crystals or
Yes,
healing energy, like throw those hints into the books.
exactly. And like it's ancient wisdom, but you're bringing it to the forefront. You're reminding people the beautiful energies of where this is also in their DNA and in their collective consciousness. They just totally forgot.
Well, I'm glad you told me not to rush because I feel like I've been putting this project on the back burner for so long. I feel like, got to get it done, got to do it now.
I mean, they do want you to get it done, but they just don't want you to stress over it. They want you to play in it, like have more fun. Like have it be like this is a joy to come home after work and just spend
It
3
right, right. I'm with you because that was like one of the things. Like when I first got started, I just couldn't stop. But now
Yeah,
it's like, that's the last thing I want to do.
right. Well, that's why they want you. Oh, that's interesting. Reset, do your that's why they're showing too the energy work for you would be a nice reset where you could almost come home, do energy work on yourself, on your loved ones, on the animal, the new baby dog, and then reset yourself so then you're actually recharged and you want to do it for fun. Or take a quick shower, scrub yourself with Epsom salt and then ready go. Play fun music. Have it so that because they want the energy of you know how you were so excited before and you would just it would just pour out of you.
Uh-huh.
So they want kind of that again, but they want it because what that does is you're putting that beautiful energy that you're feeling and the excitement you're feeling, it's all resonating with the energy that you're creating it. So when someone reads it, they're going to pick up that beautiful resonance. They're going to pick up that beautiful energy that you're putting into it.
Yes, and for what I understand, people can pick up on that.
Oh, 100%. So if you're like in a bad mood and you're not having fun doing it, they may feel that. And so you'll attract people that are in bad moods, doing that. Whereas you want this to be like, this is exciting. This is going to change the world. This is going to reawaken people's excitement to be here on the planet. Like you're bringing them back to their true, authentic spiritual selves.
Hmm, interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, so it looks like it's going to be fun and it's going to be, how some people they just get so like I've only seen a few of the Marvel ones, but people get really into it where they can't wait till the next one comes out.
Oh yeah, you got some diehards that are like,
Yeah, so that's what they want you to be like, yeah, this is going to create lots of diehards. And again, this is more for fun. This is for you to get the wisdom out. This is for you to wait, remind people and open up their pineal gland like, hey, wake up. We're here to do some work.
that's interesting because that is, you know, part of the goal of what I had in mind for it, to tell these great, interesting ancient stories, but more present day in a present day type of setting. And that
Mhm.
was one of the goals is to take it down that route, to bring it out to the masses. Because I was joking around with Sarah one day. I said, yeah, I said, I feel like you doing the work to wake up the metaphysical side, the UFO community, the metaphysical community. I'm trying to get the ones that are in this other world to wake up as well. And I was like, I figure if we can tag team and wake up both communities, we'll just get a lot further, you know, further
Right.
in life.
Oh my gosh, and it's so much fun because it's showing too, like it's a ripple effect, so like it's gonna bounce off of each other. But it's also um they're showing it's needed for like the whole platform that we're about to step in onto. Like it's needed to create the beautiful, strong energy moving forward so that people can land on it and actually feel so strong in it. Whereas if it doesn't show up right away, it's going to take longer for people to feel safe and land on a strong place of, feeling like, oh, we have we have hope, we have a place to head, there's a direction, we're actually on track. We can actually, go forward in a beautiful frequency and not worry about what's happening. We can actually just start creating a beautiful future together. And so they don't want to pressure you at all, but they are showing like if you don't do it, someone else is going to do it. So
I know, I know.
like,
I know,
no
I
pressure,
believe in that. So if
no
you don't do it,
pressure.
someone else is going to do it.
Yeah, like they show
It
there's a
won't be as good as mine.
no, and you're already doing it. So to keep holding the torch, hold the torch and move forward.
Yep, yep, yep.
But they are showing too, like it's like the author, it's like a book, like the title of a book. It's given to like, let's say 50 different people, or it's there and they tap into that book title. And whoever gets it out first is going to have that in the name of the book.
Hmm.
The other 49 are going to have to think of a different book title, but it's there. So that's why they're showing it's there waiting. So that's why you're already working with it. You're already creating it and you're already tapping into it. So just keep doing it.
Will do. Tell the guides or whoever's giving you the information. Done.
Yay. And they'll help you. They'll give you extra energy.
Yes, I'm
It,
gonna need it.
do you play music when you're working on it?
Do I play music like a musical instrument or do I listen to music?
Like, listen, do you listen to music when you're working on it?
Yes. Techno, high frequency techno music, I guess you could call it, like
Yeah.
high vibe beats, not like slow techno or like rave techno, but like
Yes.
house techno with words.
Oh, nice. Keep that up because they're showing that's actually keeping you in a higher space too. It's keeping you
It does wake me up and does keep me focused.
yes, exactly. So keep doing that because that helps. It looks like that just It's
Done it.
almost
Easy.
time disappears when you're
Got a whole
listening.
playlist.
Oh, good. Woo, woo. Yay. Well, your energy looks good. I checked your chakras. Everything's open. We're just worried about your legs because they just want you to be strong always. Um,
Yeah. Stay mobile.
yeah, yeah,
What other advice they have on the legs? Jumping jacks? I don't know about the jump rope thing.
yeah. I mean, I know. We just they did show, it's so funny. They did show like a little mini trampoline, but
Oh,
um
okay.
'cause those are like it gets the lymphatic system moving.
What about swimming?
Well, they're showing for you water, any water, because I asked if you could take a bath and they're like, he's too tall and big for a bath.
Yeah.
So water, any body of water. If you do have a big soaking tub, Epsom salt is great, Himalayan salts, but they're showing water. If you can get to the water, it would be awesome.
Yep. I plan on doing more stuff on the lake. I that's one of the things I would like to start doing is more stuff on the lake.
Good. Yeah,
Since I
it
don't
helps.
have access to the ocean that much.
Yeah, that's okay. On vacation, on vacation. Oh, and they're showing too. Were you able to patent that symbol, or is that symbol gonna, you already have your name next to it, right?
For the picture that I just shared, the photo is copyrighted to that guy, but the symbol, I wasn't too sure to copyright the symbol to see if I could copyright the symbol because I don't know, like it's one of those things like kind of like you know, like if you're spiritual, you shouldn't be charging, but you know, if this is like a metaphysical symbol, you know, should it be copyrighted or should it be released out to the community to help people?
Right. Well, they're just showing if you have to, like, don't worry if you have to, just for your own, just because it's about the storyline.
Yeah,
Um, it's really more for your protection against, let's say, the bigger companies that have access to it.
yeah. It was always a thought on my mind, but I wasn't too sure to explore that or not.
Yeah, I mean, they're showing if you can, it's really, you're gifting it back to the community. You're not hiding it away. And you're not trying to give them subtle symbols for their subconscious mind to then fall asleep. Like this is actually to awaken people. So they're showing there's no harm in copywriting it because you share it with everyone.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. They're just showing if you can and it's available, they're showing you definitely do it because they just don't want someone else to steal it and say you can't use it and then them hide it away, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because the dark likes to play dirty tricks, right?
Yeah, they just, like to keep people in line in a
This symbol is waking up too many people.
right. They're like, oh no. But no, they just said if it's available, go for it. Like, don't worry. It's actually would be more helpful if you did.
Perfect. I'll make a mental note of that.
Yeah. But they're excited for you. They're excited because you're that playground that you're hanging out in with the art and the creative work, it actually is it's really a fun world because then you get to meet other like-minded souls. So it's also helping you, create that beautiful community and help create the community to bond them and let them meet each other. So that's why too, the more you work in it, the more you'll be able to connect with other like-minded souls, and then it will expand to the point of you might be able to do that as a full-time job if you wanted.
Yeah, that would be nice. That would be awesome. So you're talking about that community of the comic book world community, that community?
The comic book and the movie world, yeah.
Oh, I got you.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
got you. Well, that would be the goal. That would be nice, you know,
Yeah.
because you
It,
hear about it all the time. Such and such story became a movie. And I was like, oh, that's neat. That is pretty cool.
right. Hey, put it out there.
See what happens.
Yeah.
But that's funny that you bring that up because that is one of the things that I have been looking to explore more and and to get that more rolling. It was kind of like I'm glad you brought it up. It's kind of like a message of like don't forget what how you got started in this community, this metaphysical community, this metaphysical rabbit hole, you could say. Like, don't forget why you went down here. It's because you was exploring information for this project that you was working on. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, don't forget about it now. Just
Right.
it's
Like,
like, yeah, you got the Q.R.E podcast and everything, but also don't forget about this other thing that's going on. Make sure you focus on this because this is what led you down this path. And I'm like,
yes.
yeah, you're
Yep.
right.
And it also, it's so cool because like you said, Sarah's doing her part, awakening, her, part of the group, but then you're getting also a whole other group connected, and it's all like a beautiful intertwining, like the way they're showing it is like an infinity sign, like everyone's doing their part but connecting all together. So,
Oh,
and it's also like helping to stimulate someone else's energy of like, oh, well, if I do this, you can also do this, or you can be a part of it here. And then this beautiful energy becomes, it expands and becomes larger, and then expands to help remind others like, hey, you can come join this group too, and it's a lot of fun. And remember, there's a lot out there, more than you might think, or you forgot, and now you're part of the group, and then they get to share all their infinite wisdom. So it's a beautiful gathering.
I did buy my tickets to the next. New Orleans has their version of a comic world or whatever, or sci-fi world. So I did buy my tickets yesterday to go to the event that's in a week or two.
Oh my God, how much fun.
Matter of fact, this pin right here was from last year, and I forgot that it was on.
Oh my God, I love it.
That's the lapel pin from last year.
Oh my God, that's so cool. I love it. See, you were meant to like, they were meant to remind you, like, hey, mister. But the other thing is, and not that this is not about, you're not in it for riches and all that, but they're showing it is you also, but that you can, there is
Opportunities kind of thing.
out there so that you can share the wisdom and still then hang out in that realm and do what you love and keep doing it, because there's nothing wrong with your job now. It's beautiful, but you're also, there's a part of you that really wants to help expand the consciousness and help people awake and remember who they are. So why not enjoy that too?
Kind of like a 2-for-1 special.
There you go. There you go.
So you mentioned my guide. So is there any guides that come forward? Is like what kind of guides are we talking about?
Well, you have a group. I mean, the one that showed up the most dominant was this King Neptune guide or God, Lord of the Sea, God of the Sea. That's definitely one of your guides because, um,
Me liking the Trident is nothing unnormal because I got a whole guide that is part of
exactly.
that.
This has been with you since you were born.
That's very, very interesting. And that probably explains when I was younger why I will always doodle and draw that symbol.
Oh, 100%.
Not
I mean,
knowing what I was doing, just
yeah,
I was just doodling.
right. Like other kids might have been, let's say, drawing a lion or something, and that was connecting to their guides. But for you, this is such a strong, I mean, every time I kept asking, I know he's a Leo, but there's water all around him, and they just kept showing this beautiful, I guess it's called the Trident. It's just and then it was just water everywhere. So, and then they were like merman, merman. So that's definitely a one of they're showing it as one of your superpowers. So that's a definitely call in this guide every day if you want, or throughout the day, just to keep you strong, to remind you, let's do the work and have fun doing the work. Let's share the ancient wisdom. you do have ties to this Atlantean energy. So if you want to ask them to give you downloads at night, it does show you have a really active mind like all the time. So at night you might receive the downloads easier. During the day, it looks like you fill it with a lot of stuff. So they don't want you to be overwhelmed. They just want it to be like just information you have, and then it just shows up. And the next day, you might be very curious about. Somehow I have to Google this. I don't know why, but they're gonna be sending you a lot more information too, because it does look like you want to activate this Atlantean energy again of
Yeah,
um
absolutely. I mean, I think that history of our ancient past is fascinating.
oh yeah.
And I did find this coin at one of my rental properties. It's
Oh,
it's Poseidon with the trident.
oh my God, you're kidding. See, these are your signs. This is to remind you, like this is no coincidence.
And yeah, yes, I live in New Orleans, and yes, there's parades and everything, but I never put the two together. You know what I mean? I never knew that there was a a parade, a float, a crew called Poseidon.
Oh my God, you're kidding.
I knew of Rex, Bacchus, Rhea, because my mom. Toth is another one. Like I knew of those, but I never put Poseidon next to it. And the next thing you know, I found this a long time ago at one of my rental properties. It was in the attic, and I always thought it was cool. And then later on, I started reading his books, and they talk about Poseidon and the Trident. Whether it's Dolores Cannon's book or even Sarah's book, and I'm like talking about Atlantis and so on, and I'm like, what are the odds that I found this coin in the attic, of one of the houses,
Oh yeah.
you know?
For
So I
those,
keep it here. I said, all right, well, I'm going to keep it right there next to me as a little reminder.
yeah. But they are showing too your mother's grandmother, and grandfather. A lot of our ancestors choose to be our guardian angels when they pass over. Some don't, some
Uh,
are here. But they're showing those two are dominant for you too, because they just want you to remember, um, they just want to keep you strong. But you're already a strong energy. So, but it's always nice. You can always call on your ancestors whenever you need, just for extra support, or if you're tired or you just need a little extra boost that day. But um, they're just always rooting for you. So, and they're just also, when you succeed and when you do great things or you help bring light into the world, they get to actually, it helps their karma. Not that there is any negative or anything like that. It's just when you bring out love and light forward, it also clears the past and it helps the love and light go to the past. So it's healing the future karmic energy, and it's also healing the past at the same time.
oh, that's interesting. Kind of like, not t breaking up timelines, but kind of like breaking old habits, maybe.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, because like that's what like energetically for people, like let's just say they decide to stop let's say a karma from 5 generations earlier, then it's going to heal 5 generations in their future. So their children's and their grandchildren, their great grandchildren, they're going to be clear of that energy because that person stopped it. And it's going to move forward 5 generations forward. So it's really fascinating how that works. But they're showing you do that. So you're keeping that beautiful energy moving forward. And what it's doing, it's healing the energy in the past. So they're just saying thank you for that because um that different times and generations they had different struggles. So you're bringing in light and wisdom, and so they're getting to enjoy the energy from all of that, if that makes sense.
Oh, that's pretty cool. That's interesting.
Yeah. So that's even more reason to keep doing your beautiful work because you're helping their energy at the same time.
Yeah, I guess because we're all connected, I guess.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's beautiful. So they're just praising you and saying you're doing beautiful work, and they just need you to know that 'cause they
Well,
get to
thank
reap.
So ask them this, is there anything that I need to know about Atlantis? Like what, like for example, if they could share anything, like what happened at the last days of Atlantis? Because there's a couple of theories, and I would love to get yours input on it from what they're saying.
Hmm. The first thing that I heard, they just said something. It looked the way they show it is like they said a nuclear meltdown, but it wasn't really nuclear. It was a different vibration. So let's see.
And that will help with the comic books, FYI.
Okay. They're saying something like, I don't know what this means. A seismic wave. I don't know what that means. Some sort of energy wave. Um, it's kind of like it's similar. They're showing it looks like a microwave wave, but it's not of that energy. Um, Seismic meltdown. I don't know what this means. Um, anyway, they're showing it, it's something, they're calling it a seismic reaction. Huh. Seismic, they're calling it like a seismic wave. It looks like nuclear, but it was some sort of similar to nuclear. Does that make sense?
Yes, yes, a little bit. Seismic wave, as in like not microwaves or anything, but just high intense energy rays or something like that, or maybe like lasers or anything like that.
It looks like lasers, like I was asking if it had to do with crystals, and they were showing it looks like crystals, but it's like they're calling it like magnetic energy waves.
Yeah, yeah, I think you might be onto something. Yes.
Mm. Um, I'm just gonna send you, I don't know what this means. I'm just gonna send this to you because I just looked up what seismic waves mean. I have no idea. I've never seen this before. So oh, it didn't work. Um, I guess I'll send it to your email. But anyway, they're just showing it's like radioactive, but it's not of the same engineering, similar to nuclear, but it's not. It's like crystalline energy.
They did abuse the crystals.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Yeah, so it's sad because it looks like it just everything kind of disintegrated.
Yes, yes. From like the molecule level, things separated.
Yeah. Like it's so kind of weird because it seems like it all happened all at once. Um, kind of it looks like honestly, the way it like waves just showed up and then all of a sudden there was a flash and then everything was disintegrated.
Mm,
So very strange. But it looks like not only a few knew what they were doing and they didn't care, if that makes sense. But most people didn't.
yes, it felt like, if I remember correctly, they were arrogant. Like they knew everything,
Yeah.
and they were very kind of like arrogant, and
Mhm.
they abused the information and knowledge that they had.
Right. Yeah, and it's sad because it looks like too they they were warned, but they nobody listened. Anyway, it's just sad because it looks like it didn't happen. It didn't have to happen. Yeah, almost like a flash, and then everything was like kind of melted or disintegrated. Like the structure, everything collapsed.
Perfect. Huh. Yeah, that's about kind of right. So
Yeah.
we talked a little bit about the future and everything. So what about like past lives on other planets? Any information about that?
I mean, it's showing that a lot of people have had their star system lives. I mean, it looks like some people have had lives where everything looks like crystals. Like there's many different structures on different planets, but it looks like different galaxies. They all have different energies.
Uh-huh.
So it does look like some souls have gathered from those systems because
Oh, you
it,
talking about the guides, my guides,
oh,
or
your guides. You're asking about your guides? I thought you meant collectively. Sorry.
oh, you was looking at the Atlantean collective.
Yeah, they were just showing you have an affinity. Like it's almost like they're showing it too as a sadness because it looks like you were also one of the ones that warned against it and you weren't listened to. So there's just a sadness there. Um, and they just don't want you to feel the sadness because they, there was not you can just keep doing your work, but they don't want you to feel the sadness. Like
Right.
it happened and just see it as it happened and it happened and we're moving forward. Like it is what it is. And the soul's reincarnated, so that's good.
Yep. You
And
mentioned Edgar Cayce. He did say that a lot of souls from Atlantis during that time frame of the destruction, a lot of souls are here now, reincarnated.
yeah, yeah, to try to keep the balance, like even with nature, like not polluting the waters and not polluting the forest and like the using all the pesticides, like it's creating this weird it's changing the molecular structure, which again is what they were doing in the Atlantean times. It looks like they were messing with the god molecular structure of each element, which you're not supposed to mess with. God makes it and that's it. You don't mess with it.
That's is one of the things they were messing around with. They were messing around with DNA at the molecular level of the structure.
Oh, that makes sense then. Yeah, and they were told not to, and
Correct.
they dishonored. It wasn't even disobeyed. They dishonored God's creation.
Yes, yes. They felt like they could do, if they had the knowledge to do it, then they had a right to do it. Kind of like that kind of arrogance.
Yeah, it's so sad. It's really sad.
Like if we want to make a man, half fish, we're able to do it, then, we have the power to do that kind of thing.
Oh, because they're so smart that they know how it's done. But then they are so stupid because they don't know the repercussions of it.
Correct,
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah.
But yes, they were warned, and that would be in the story as well for Guardians of Magic. That would be in the book.
Hmm. Yeah, but they want you, like, I don't know if you're gonna have a character of you in there, but they want you to, if you'd like, have a character of you. Um, if
Which
you want,
one should that be?
which you should be the Lord of the Sea. Oh, that would be fun. But they do want you to, again, you're mourning. It's so fascinating. You're warning the people again. But again, you're giving hope this time of we don't have to repeat. And we already know
Yes.
this in our DNA, in our collective consciousness. So therefore, we already know, like remembering, it's almost like that. It looks to me like that nuclear meltdown or whatever that horrible experience was. It's in so many of the people's souls' memories. So they want people to, it's almost like you're gonna gently and lovingly remind them that we can choose a new path. This is our time to choose a new path.
Okay.
So they want you to, yes, you can mention the sadness, but remind people the hope of a future. So the sadness is we already did this, the hope is we don't do this again, and therefore we can choose a new timeline. Yeah.
Take a better approach, a better path.
And like almost like, okay, God's creatures, you've already messed up. Like, let's not do it again. We can choose differently. We don't have to keep messing up.
Please, let's not do this all over again, people.
Right. You
It
know
took
what?
us thousands of years to get back to where we were.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Well, that's cool. Anything else from the future? Anything else? Are they talking about anything else? It doesn't have to be about the future. It could be anything else. Anything else coming through?
No, it does look like the way they're showing it is too like there's certain star seeds that are helping to keep the path going in the new timeline. So it's almost like we have a lot more. They're calling them busy bee workers. So they're keeping the energy moving in the new timeline. So it does look like energetically it looks more positive. It looks more exciting, let's say.
Gotcha. You talking about star seeds like new souls on this planet?
Yeah, and also just and yes, new souls, but souls of other galaxies to keep the energy high, the frequency high, so that we can remember that we have other choices. We don't have to keep choosing the same, let's just say, horrible outcome. So it does look like we have extra helpers. They're calling them busy bee helpers. Huh.
Perfect.
Yeah. Oh,
Is
that's so
this what's that?
they're showing a lot of bees. So I'm wondering, I'm asking if the bees are helping us too, and they're saying yes. That's so interesting.
Yeah, because they're busy bodies too.
Yeah, and they're gentle, loving, beautiful creatures.
With that being said, would this be part of like that new Earth energy that they're trying to bring in?
It looks like that. Yeah, it looks like they're calling it just higher frequency Earth. And that we can kind of, though energetically, it looks like get out of that ego energy of survival and having to, in order to thrive, we have to harm each other or kill each other off. And they're showing there's a different way. It's a new time. It's a very, it's a loving, more higher frequency timeline where we can share love and we don't have to kill each other in order to survive, if that makes sense.
Yes, yes. Like we don't have to be so defensive and warlike, I guess you could say.
Right. And even that gentle love of like sending love from a distance or sending love to someone's heart or calming someone with their energy, just sending love of everything's fine, everything you're safe. It's almost like people are going to be more attuned in their own energy healing so that they can help others feel better. It just looks like it's a higher vibrational group that are going to help each other to stay in that, remind each other to calm down and relax, get into that higher space. It's almost like that violent old, yeah, warlike energy kind of going to the wayside. It's no longer, people aren't going to ask for that. They don't want that anymore.
Yeah, it's time for peace.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it is shifting. It's just we have to keep in that collective sense too of that, remembering this is our new timeline, this is where we're going, this is where our future can be. We can open up to that. We just have to keep that in our mind's eye to keep bringing it and calling it forward. And that's why your beautiful message will help.
I feel better now. I feel better that I'm going on the right path because at one time I was like, I was like, which one should I do? I enjoy both. How can I go about this one? Would it be related or would it be looked down upon? You know, uh,
Yeah.
like, oh, he's not part of the light worker community. He's doing all this other stuff. Just weird questions come to mind.
Mhm. Yep, you've already been in, first off, you've been in that light workers energy for thousands of years, so don't worry about that. So we send love to the naysayers or all the doubters, but
Been there, done that for 1,000 years, kind of
yeah,
thing.
and who's that motivational uh he's a military Navy SEAL. You don't know me, son, or whatever. I don't he says something. You don't know me, son. But anyway, yeah, they don't know you, so don't worry about it.
Gotcha. They don't know where I've been.
Is it David Huggins? What's his name? I don't know his name, but anyway, he's that motivational speaker. That's what you need to tell them. You don't know me, son.
You don't know where I've been and seen.
Exactly.
You don't know what I've been through.
Exactly.
That's funny.
So you just tell them, oh, it's David Goggins with a G, but he just says, he basically says, you, it doesn't matter if you don't like him or not. He's okay with it. So
Well,
it's,
that's awesome.
yes.
Awesome. Well, my next event, my next show is January 5th. So
Oh, nice.
get some new contacts, meet some new
Oh,
people.
yay. So I'm gonna come back. So I thank and I love your beautiful guides and I thank them for allowing us to connect today. And I say thank you, thank you, thank you. And your records are closed. Okay. I probably look crazy because I'm um here we go. Oh yeah, I really was like in a whole other place. Um
Make sure you
yes,
close that book now, because
I know. We don't
that
want oh but I'll be swimming with the mermaids all night.
yeah, you're
Yay.
gonna be with the dolphins and stuff.
That's so cool. You know, it's so beautiful because I think only a few people, I think Tracy was one of them years ago. Her guide said to go to that Bimini Road, and your guide said to go there. So, and anyway, they were showing dolphins, and they were showing if you could bring people there to feel the energy there. So it's so cool because I haven't seen that for like probably 2 years.
You mentioned Bermuda for a little bit, and I was like, that would be one of the places I wanted to visit.
Oh, Bermuda? Oh, I didn't even know. That came up?
Yes, a little bit. You mentioned Bermuda, but at first I thought you was going to say Bermuda Triangle, but then you said Bermuda Road, and then you switched it to, or I corrected it to Bimini Road.
Oh, interesting.
So I'm just gonna have to go to both, you know?
Yeah, but that's what I was thinking. I was like, I wonder if you could somehow get a group so that you include your everything you need and you take them and then you guide them and say this is you be the tour guide because you have so much well you have a wealth of information.
It's just locked up somewhere, you
You know,
know?
you could be like, hey, I'm gonna bring you and I'm gonna guide you to these sacred sites and this is how it's gonna be.
Yep.
And,
You do need a special boat. You just don't go to an airport and then land and
uh,
there in like 20 minutes. You do need to like go to a special island, and then from the island you have to take a special boat. So
oh
when I
boy.
say special boat, enough a boat that can hold however many people,
Yeah.
you know.
I had a friend that was a shipwreck hunter, and he said he was off of, I think he was off of Bimini, somewhere in the Bahamas. He said there was something happening there because he said it was, and he was super sensitive. Like he was sometimes psychic and things would show up and then it would go away. But he was like, I've never seen these type of dolphins before. And he grew up on Cape Cod. He was a diver.
Hmm.
He was a merman himself, but he was like, "There's something magical over there." And this one ship had wrecked there, and but it was the curse of the Matavias, so it was cursed. So, and he wanted to go, and he wanted me to go there to remove the curse.
Hey,
And
do some work over here.
then I read about the curse, and there were 6 or 7 of the ships that had the riches on the ship.
Uh-huh.
They capsized or they got sunk from a hurricane. Like 6 or 7 times all these riches went down and it ended up in the Bahamas. And I was like, I don't think I'm that power. I don't even want to go near that ship.
But and that was close to Bimini.
It
That
was yeah, because he would dive there to try to find it and he said there was something insanely magical. I don't know if he saw a craft come out of the water, but he would be the type of person that would, like, it was something crazy. Like he said it was like the most magical place. And I was like, oh gosh, I mean, I want to go there. Just didn't want to go
yeah,
there.
I mean, it you hear a lot of rumors. You hear that there's underwater base from the U.S. government. If they have an underwater base, you hear about UFOs coming out the water, you
Mhm.
know, so very active area.
Yeah. Oh, I wouldn't. I bet. I mean, I saw one of my clients that I met in the spa world. He said he and his girlfriend were just in Fort Lauderdale. They rented a hotel on the weekend on the water and just to get away from Miami. And he said a craft just came out of the water in front of them. And he's like, we both just looked at each other. And I was like, well, that's pretty awesome. I mean,
We
yeah.
do love to go to Fort Lauderdale. We do like that. So it's a
Oh,
nice place.
yeah. I know I used to live right there south of Fort Lauderdale, right by south of the airport. So it was Sunny Isle, then it went Aventura, Sunny Isle, then Bal Harbor, Surfside. I was right there by Bal Harbor, and so the water, I had a paddleboard that I would go in the bay, and then I'd drive like 5 minutes, and I was right there. And so for
Got,
me, that was my healing place. But now I'm in the woods.
gotcha.
Yeah.
So with the water thing going on with you as well, I mean, were you part of that God of the sea type energy, mermaid energy?
I had seen someone saw me in a past life as a mermaid energy. Oh gosh, when I opened Sarah's records, they had, oh, I didn't know this. This was, and I forgot it, so I'm gonna write it down because I completely forgot. They called them sea fairies. They asked,
Hmm.
she needed to protect her house, so she was asking something about protection, and her guys called on sea fairies that were right outside her home to come and protect her house. And then I looked it up. I didn't even know there was such a thing as sea fairies. And when I looked it up, I'm like, oh my God, I didn't even know. So I'm wondering if I'm
Oh,
part of the sea fairy energy, because the Gaelic culture and the Irish, I'm mostly Irish, Scottish, and I have a little French, but I have seen past lives of Egypt and all these other things. But my most recent, I guess, energy from my family, they have that weird Celtic energy and they believe in, I don't know, Selkies, energy of humans can morph into seals and come back.
oh, kind of like morphing into something or
Yeah.
transforming into
Yeah,
something.
so they believed in that weird, and there's a term. They actually made a movie about Selkies. Yeah.
Oh,
And
gotcha.
I'll have to send it to you. One of the famous Irish actors was in a movie that talked about it. Anyways, so there's like this weird morphing, and so I wondered too if maybe that was just from their energy. But this fairy energy is so strong, but I didn't know there were fairies of the sea, so I'm wondering if it's more of that energy.
Hmm.
But
That,
it was,
that is interesting. I don't even think I knew about that.
yeah.
Fairies, like very similar to like the fairies you hear about in the woods or
Yes,
Scotland or Ireland, but these are fairies as well, but part of the ocean, like they live in the ocean.
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
sea.
that's cool. Yeah,
Yeah,
why not? I mean,
I know.
it's a magical realm, right? They can do anything.
Yeah, but this is for some reason the ocean, the whales in the ocean. So for some reason, when I was a kid, I wanted to be a marine biologist. No idea why, because I love the ocean. But anyway, I just wanted to be around dolphins and whales and sharks and just be around them. And then I realized too, like, because I tried to see if I had past lives in certain places, and people told me Atlantean, yes, Lemurian, yes. And then when I looked into Lemurian energy, the healing of the whales and the dolphins, it was super strong. But when I would open up to people's energy before I would massage them, for example, I would ask for help. And like it sounds crazy, but whale energy would show up, dolphin energy. Like I literally would be like, I'd feel energy of whales next to me, and I'm like, this is crazy. And then when I started to do more of the healing touch, I would ask my teacher, I swear dolphins showed up today. And she goes, oh, yeah, that's normal. And I'm like, what? And then I was like, today, two angels showed up with, it looked like a tennis. it was a looked like one of those tennis nets, those nets for tennis, playing tennis. An angel would be on each side, and the net would just go through the person's body and just
Oh,
through, like it was this white net.
kind of like
And
to catch certain things from the body.
yeah, and clear, and it literally would clear it and send it to the light. So I told, and I was like, I can't, thank God I could talk to her because I don't know who else I could share this with some few people. Like I could tell Tracy and that would be, she'd get it. But so I was like, yeah, it was so beautiful. I didn't even have to do anything. I just stood there and I held the energy and I just held the space. And these angels did everything. And she's like, oh yeah, that's Archangel Michael. And I'm like, what? She goes, yeah, he has a white net and he also brings dolphins sometimes with him when he works. I'm like,
Hmm.
oh my God. So when I researched it, people have written books about this, and then they show the dolphins with the net, and I'm like,
Really? I've never heard of that. Huh.
I have all these books on it because I don't, I'm the type of person that I don't like to read books so that it's in my head. So I think I'm projecting what's already there. I feel sad because I've never read any of Dolores Cannon's book, even though I love her. But I just didn't want it to be in my
Orange.
conscious. Yeah.
Yeah.
In case stuff like that shows up. But I mean, the other part of it is I should read it because I want to also validate what other people have experienced
Right.
and feel like, oh, we're all connected. I just get worried that it's gonna be,
Influence you. Hmm.
yeah.
No, no, it's perfectly understandable. That's one of the things like when I talk to Tracy and others, it's like, oh, I don't know about those books, or even Sarah's books, and it's like, well, that's in Sarah's book. And they're like, no way. Or
Yeah.
like Dolores Cannon or something like that. And they're like, really? And I'm like, yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, and it's great validation because then it's like, oh, we're getting this information. It's kind of all out there. But I guess I just didn't want like I wanted mine to be well, I feel bad because like I don't watch a lot of TV because I'm like I didn't want that to even influence my stuff.
Yeah, and that probably could pull you in the wrong direction too.
Oh yeah. Oh, I have to clear I clear every night before I go to bed if I
Just by watching the news, you're gonna have to clear.
oh my God, I can't do the news. Even the commercials I have to clear. Like I just can't. Like it's so crazy.
Perfect.
But yeah.
What time is it there? Is it 10 o'clock?
It's 10, yeah, 10:18. How are you feeling? Are
Mhm.
you okay?
Oh yeah, I feel great. I feel good. I feel all energetic and pumped now. I'm not
Yay.
gonna write any story tonight, but
Yeah, exactly.
but that was great information and great stuff. So
Oh,
that was pretty cool. That was very interesting. Very good too, I do have to say. If anybody's watching this video, that was pretty impressive.
it was so cool. I swear, I don't know, I've done this for like 8 or 9 years. I've only had like two mermen or three mermen in my life, and you're one of them. Like, it's just so fun because doesn't come out of my mouth often. And then when they were like, because I always like to doodle when I do this.
Uh-huh.
I just like I don't even know why I doodle, but I just do it. And then when they were like merman, and then I was like King Neptune, I was like, this is interesting. So anyway, it's super fascinating. It's so cool. I've never had that as somebody's beautiful, strong guide.
It's interesting because you brought up the Trident. Now I don't feel so bad for being a big fan of the Trident symbol. Now it makes even more sense.
Yeah, and then you have it. Did you have it as a necklace?
Yeah, so I bought this, I forgot when, but yeah, this
Oh my God, it's so cool. I can't, like, I swear to God, I kept, when they were showing me symbols, I was like, is this the fleur de lis? Because I was drawn, and then I'm like, this is so weird. It's not the fleur de lis.
right,
That's
and it is similar too. It is similar. It
so,
is similar to the Florida League. I'm surprised you knew the name of it because usually people don't know the name of that symbol.
oh, well, I think it's because the French side of me, I would look up history. First, I went, when I was 14, I just had to go to France, and I was like, why? Like, I don't speak French. I don't know anything. Like, just had to go. So I somehow convinced my parents I'm going to live with a French family and learn French. And I had this desire to go, and when I went through Versailles, I was like, this is so familiar. Like the gardens were familiar. Everything felt like I'd been there.
You probably definitely had a past life there.
Yeah. And then I was once like literally in Doral, Miami, Florida, whatever, and I was walking through, there's a golf course there, and I was with my friend, and I literally saw us morphed into like Parisian attire, and we were walking through like Versailles energy. And I was like, oh my God, we've been there together. It was just, but I was in Miami and I'm like, whoa, this is trippy. And I wasn't on anything. It was just, and I was like, oh, yeah, we were in France together. I knew him from somewhere.
The logo thing was very interesting. Once when you started mentioning vortexes and portals and craft, I started like I don't know when you're doing your session if you're looking down or if your eyes are closed, but I was like kind of like laughing and smiling. I was like,
Oh, that's so funny.
that's
And
good. That's
oh,
good.
I'm so good because I literally just say whatever comes out of my mouth. Like sometimes words that I never use just come out. Like I couldn't tell you what words they were using when they were what happened at Atlantean time. So that's why I emailed you whatever I said because I don't remember. But it was something about wavelengths, and I was just like, I've
Oh,
never.
yeah. I'm gonna have to look for that. I
Yeah,
forgot that you sent me an email about it. So,
yeah, it was something. But I was like, I've never. I don't even something. I never. I was like, I've heard of this before, but I don't know what it is. So anyway, that's why sometimes I just randomly send people what's being shown because I'll forget. Just so that I like to research stuff after, like sometimes people would have like their guides would say you need to take this herb or whatever, and I would be like, oh, so I'd write that down, and then I would go to PubMed and I'd research what it's good for. Like one woman was like, I need help with my hot flashes, and they said, I don't remember now if it was watermelon juice or watermelon seeds. So when I researched after whatever they said, it helped menstrual cramps, and I was like, oh, that's so cool. And I'm like, I need
oh,
then I was
nice.
like, I need to remember this. Or hot flashes, I meant hot flashes. And then of course I don't remember it. So I'm like, oh well. But then the medical medium guy, some of that stuff would show up in his book. And I'm like, he's getting this information probably from the Akashic records.
He's tapping into it.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, you mentioned books and you mentioned Edgar Cayce. Have you read any of his books or anything like that?
I think I just read it was their autobiography. I remember I was like 16 or something or 15 and I remember reading it and I remember asking I want to be like him. I want a gift like his. I want to help people. And like that's that's all I remember. And then I remember trying to do the telepathy with the books and then but other than that, I just remember reading his book. And then during the lockdown, I was driving from Florida to Massachusetts and I wanted to go to his center. And then I was just a little sad because they were pushing stuff that I was like, oh gosh. And I was like, of all places, I was expecting that to not push stuff. And I was like, okay, I'm not going. But
Oh, you talking about the place in Virginia Beach?
yeah.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. At first, I was like, I thought you meant when you was in Florida, they were pushing stuff in Florida.
Oh no, sorry. I was gonna stop off at the ARE Center in Virginia
Gotcha.
Beach. Sorry.
Gotcha.
And
I gotcha.
is the magical they were seeing the sand and the ocean there was like really healing. And I wanted to get a treatment there because I was like, oh, this would be nice. And then they were saying all these things about.
But if you want to hear something funny, when I heard about Edgar Cayce and I was reading some of his books, I was saying, man, that would be cool if we had an Edgar Cayce of our time, someone that we can deal with that can tap into the Akashic records, you know,
Oh,
like he did. And I'm like, look at this, you're right there. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, but that's so interesting because I remember too, I think in the book, I could be wrong, or maybe in his maybe in another on his website or something. I remember he was warned by his guides to not give as many sessions because it was draining him,
Yes. Hmm.
life force, I think, or however they
Wanted
mentioned.
him to slow down, and he didn't. He kept on going, same pace.
Yeah, and that's when, because I used to try in the beginning, I was trying to do like 5 or 6 of these a day, and I would end up getting sick, like I'd have to sleep for a few days or get run down. And I was like, holy moly, is that? And then I'm like, that's when it popped in my head. Oh, he was warned not to give so many because I think they said he'll die of an early age or something like that.
Yeah, it was kind of like if he didn't slow down his sessions, he was going to die sooner than expected. But
Yeah,
on the flip side, he did live to be a lot longer than what he was supposed to live.
amazing.
But he could have lived longer if he would have slowed down on his sessions, but he did not. He felt like he needed to help out people more and more.
Yeah.
Kept on going.
Yeah, and it's amazing because like I could see how beautiful it is because when I do sessions for the most part, I'm in like this beautiful space, and then but then also on the other side, if I'm not taking care of myself the way I'm supposed to, I can get run down quick. So it's fascinating. You have to balance it, but yeah, I just remember thinking I was like, gosh, this. It's an honor to do this work, but I think what I've noticed is some people don't, if they haven't done this work, they have no idea what happened, like how much it takes. So I do, but it's a lesson for me to learn to balance. Like I have to go to the gym as much as I can. I have to hydrate. I have to eat. Ground. I used to forget to ground, and so like I would forget to eat. So yeah, so I learned the hard way, but now I'm trying to find the balance. So I'm hoping I'm somewhat there.
Yep, now you got the grounding, the drinking, the,
Yeah,
you know, grounding yourself.
yeah.
So we had an Akashic record reading. Is that pretty much how what people can expect in a reading? Like very similar thing.
Mm,
You do the prayer, you open up the book, things
yeah.
start coming through, guides. Or did you change anything around because of the episode, the show?
Yeah, no, actually for you, I was a little nervous because I never had done it like live like this, where it's just like all recorded in one shot.
Yeah, I usually push people a little bit, push them to do
Yeah, it's
something.
awesome. Yeah, I'm just glad you didn't have to have me on camera the whole time. Because yeah, I usually like just either when I'm outside, I look at nature, but when I'm in the room, I kind of close my eyes and I just share because I see it. I just see it, eyes closed. But when they started showing me all the symbols, at first they were going really fast, and I was like, I just didn't share at first because I was a little confused. I'm like, Is they showing me New Orleans Saints? Like, what? And then and then I was like, okay, let me just share because he'll know what this means. But when they kept going, no, so with you, no, that's usually how it is. I have had a few people who's had a loved one pass really recent, and when that happens, and then they'll just jump in and just start talking, usually really fast. So that's usually when,
Oh, I see what you're saying.
like, I had a woman whose brother-in-law passed, and like tragically. And he just was like talking for like 45 minutes to share with her like how to help heal the family because everyone was mourning. And he was just like, I can. So that's usually very dominant when someone exits quicker than they think and it's more immediate. So yours is usually normal where they show symbols and stuff. Like again, like when I had a woman in Australia, her nephew passed and again in a tragic way. And so he was like so sad because he was trying to apologize. He didn't mean to exit the way he did.
Uh,
He didn't know it was going to create karma the way it did. So
oh,
so he was taking over most of the session. So that happens sometimes when it's a more loved one trying to apologize or trying to make amends for what happened. Like usually when it's like suicide or like, just recklessness or something. So those are the ones that are really different because they're in that space. But yours is more of, I guess, the norm when it's people aren't expecting anything and just kind of tell me about this or tell me about that.
yeah, I did not know about the question thing, so I thought like you just spit out whatever comes through, and you just say your thing, and then after that, once when you wake up, you're done, and then that's it. The session's over. But it was fun to us to communicate, and like we can talk about questions, and you can get more information, dig into something a little bit more. So that was pretty cool. That was neat. Just like Edgar Cayce, you can ask him questions, and he'll just dig into it more.
Mm. Yeah, I remember, like, they never did a movie of his, right? No, I don't think so. Did they ever do a movie on him?
No, I don't know about a movie, but they definitely did documentaries on TV for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, because there was another, I think I watched Alan Kardec. Have you ever seen it? It's a movie on, I think the Spirits book or something where I think it's I think it's all subtitles because it's a French movie. But it was about this man that was tapping into the metaphysical realm
Oh, gotcha.
in the either 1800s or early 1900s. But anyway, it was he was tapping into different types of mediumship, and some people were writing, some people were just allowing the channel to come through. But that's an interesting movie to watch in case anyone wants to dive into that energy of like just different ways of experiencing it. Because in that movie, it showed like people channeling through writing, and another woman channeled through just speech. And then I think there was another one, but it was just fascinating because, I mean, it's very different. It's hard to explain what happened. I mean, for me, I guess it just kind of comes through me. I don't know, but it was great that you could actually ask questions and dive more into it because I just remember when you showed me the crop circle thing, it just kept going deeper and deeper, and I was like, wow, that's so cool. Like I'm more of an observer watching.
Gotcha. For that symbol, another thing I forgot to add is that I did show that to someone else to get their input, and they did say it's very, very ancient and very, very old.
Mm.
So, like, it's an old ancient symbol. And then Tracy said something similar. So, pretty cool, interesting stuff. Was there anything else you would like to share? Your website would be down below in the description. Is there anything else you would like to share? Anything else you would like to touch on before I let you go? Because I know it's getting late over there. It must be like 10:30 or 10:45 or something.
No, just that if people are interested, even I want to be able to help people learn how to do this because again, like we all have the ability and we all have access to it. I remember I went to a psychic when I was younger because I was always trying to find ways to heal and help. I wanted to like, I didn't always want to go to someone. I wanted to find the answers within, but I didn't even know how to do that half the time. Like if I just got out of my own way, a lot of times it would just come through, but I was usually running from all these signs and symbols and dreams that I didn't even know, what was happening half the time. So I would go to other people to seek, answers. But I'm trying to help people now realize that we can all tap in and everyone has access. I was told from a woman when in I think my early 20s that I wasn't allowed to access my Akashic records. And I was heartbroken because I was like, well, I don't understand. I asked this when I was a teenager and I want to be like Edgar Cayce. And then I was like, I don't understand. And then I realized maybe it just wasn't my timing, or who knows, maybe she wasn't able to. I don't know. But the point is, I want other people to know we all have this ability. Like, um,
So
um,
someone can reach out to you and ask for like a teaching of one-on-one kind of thing, and you would teach them one-on-one. And then when you have your webinar, you try to do it as a group as well.
yeah. So that's what I'm trying to, I'm working on that now. I have a woman that wants to help me because she's in Australia and she's an angel. And she's so sweet because I love to help people. I don't really, I'm not tech savvy all the time. So she's like, "Can I just help you do this so you can start your course." So hopefully
Mhm.
in the next few weeks, I'll have the webinar where we're going to do groups. And then I'm going to have also, I'm gonna figure out how many hours to do one-on-one because I want people to learn this if they want to, or just feel comfortable just doing their own records or their family or loved ones. Because
Absolutely.
It's very empowering, but I've also noticed helps me stay in a higher frequency because like I'll have days when I'm like, oh gosh, how can I get these thoughts out of my head? Or I'm so sensitive, I'll pick up someone's pain or suffering from the grocery line and I'm like, oh, I need to clear this. So if I go right words, it helps. It makes it easier. For those that are super empathic, like I can feel so much sometimes that it's overwhelming. And so when I just go into my records, it just gives me a more stronger sense and it gives me more just a happier, freer feeling. So I just want to offer that to those
Yeah.
people too.
And I guess you bring up a good point because what you're doing is you tapping into your records to raise your vibration. So if you can teach this to others, and when they're in that situation, that spot where they can't get in touch with someone, they can go within and access their records to raise their vibration.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's smart. That makes sense.
Yeah, because like and this is something when I first learned, I would go in every morning. That was my routine for 30 minutes. And I would just go into my records and I'd ask certain questions and I'd just get the answers. But what I did notice is it would kind of calm me a little bit more. I always suffered from headaches often because I wasn't grounded a lot, or I just wasn't keeping myself. I didn't know how to protect myself. So once I started doing it more, I was like, oh, I feel better. Oh, this is great. Oh, I don't feel so stressed. Or, oh, my heart's open with love. And that's when I could like show up to work happy, or I could show up to wherever or whoever I was going to spend time with just in a higher frequency. So that's what I want to help others. I want to help them learn that so that we're living in an interesting time, and it can be hectic. So why not at least try to find your own inner peace? I mean, there's always yoga and meditation, but the way my mind worked, it was like lightning bolts all the time hitting my head, and it wasn't always my information. It was other people's, or it was other things around me, and I was like, "Oh, this is too much." So it
But
just
thank God I had the God of the sea. Can you imagine if I had the God of thunder? You would have been like,
Oh my God, I did have one guy. He was so sweet. He was one of the first people I ever opened the records to because he was in my class. The poor thing had like literally lightning bolts around his head because he he was so hard. But he listened to his guides and he rearranged his whole energy. He's such a calmer person. He's a more spiritual person. It's so cool. Like, and that was I don't know, 8 or 9 years ago. So it's just fun because it's just a fun place to hang out in, actually. So I just want other people to have that option.
always, if you ever want to come back onto the show and you ever want to do this again, feel free to reach out to me. Let me know. Let me know what's going on. If you ever get your webinar up and going, let me know when that's available and what's ready. We don't have to do the whole Akashic record thing, maybe a refresher or whatnot, and then we can always talk about it and let the masses know that you have a course out there that teaches all this.
Okay, great. Well, thank you. And I'm so grateful you have me here on your show and your beautiful
Absolutely.
galactic realm behind you. It's a privilege.
Yeah, I
Oh
thought that'd be funny and cute. I was like, all right, we're doing Akashic records. Let me get some books. Let me find
my
some books, some solar systems. So
So cool. And I have to say, when I was a kid, I had the weirdest. I used to read a lot of books. Like I would want to read a book a day. I was a little intense, let's say. And I remember thinking, I want to read all the books in the world. Oh my God, this is like, I'm not going to be able to do this. Like, how am I going to do this in one lifetime? And then later on, I was like, oh my goodness, not that I would want that anymore. That's too much information. But in the Akashic realm, you can actually tap into like other people's libraries and be like, whoa, this is like an
right.
infinite amount of books. So
Mhm.
it kind of does feel like that in your background, in case it's just so cool that you picked that.
Yeah, I Googled JPEG images of Akashic records, and that was one of them that popped up. And so I had to download it real quick and pop it up in there. So I was like, yeah, I thought it was going to be funny and cute. I was like, go with the theme instead of the Christmas theme. I had to change it up a little bit because Christmas is over.
Such a pleasure and an honor. And thank you for allowing me to access your records?
Oh, anytime. I appreciate it. Hopefully you close that book. If not,
Yeah,
God only knows what's going to happen.
I know. Yeah. Or maybe I can be like, let me just open up to swim with the dolphins for a minute.
There you go. There you go. Be up in that ocean energy.
Yes. Well,
Well, I definitely appreciate everything that also with the helping me with my future question with Guardians of Magic, like what I should do with it. So that was pretty cool and interesting with the crystals as well. So I definitely do appreciate all of the information. It was wonderful.
you'll have to tell me what you hear. That would be so cool. With the
What's
crystals,
that?
you'll have to tell me what you hear with the crystals. That would be
Oh, yeah, yeah, that'd be funny. They start talking to me, and they should respond. And I have a whole tray in I call it the metaphysical room. I have a whole tray of crystals. So
Oh, I love it.
of
And
a
your
different project.
oh, so cool. So your books are called The Guardians of Magic?
So that would be the realm, the story world, and then it breaks off in sub segments like the Watchers, Chronicles of the Watchers, Chronicles of this. And then
Yeah.
it breaks off into sub stories. But that would be the whole world and website name.
I love it. Oh, I'm so excited. Well,
So
can't wait to see it.
attending Disclosure Fest, I kind of realized what I need to do, kind of thing. So Disclosure Fest, being at that event in Las Vegas, kind of made me realize like you can still do QRE network kind of thing, but don't forget where
Yeah.
what led you here, you know? So
Right.
so it made me realize, and then I was trying to separate Atlantis and metaphysical and QRE stuff separate and just kept the two subjects separate, but in reality I should put it together and keep it together. So I changed some of my verbiage up on QRE network and the bios and so on. And it says, Atlantis to aliens. So it includes both now. Instead of keeping them separate, which I was trying to do, but now I include both. Q.R.E. network would talk about both now.
Oh,
It
so cool.
always comes up. It always comes up hand in hand. Even though I try to keep it separate, it still comes together. Like you could one minute you're talking about UFOs, and the next thing you know, somebody brings up Atlantean crystals or energy or something, and I'm like, it's like I thought we were going to keep this separate.
Yeah. No, it's fascinating, right? Well, I can't wait to see what happens and how it all comes together.
Yep, it'll be fun. It'll be interesting.
So we both have our homework.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much. Thank you for everything.
Thank you. It's such an honor and a pleasure.
Absolutely. I'm glad we were able to do this. I'm glad we were able to connect and go through this. So when you asked me if I wanted the Akashic record reading, I was like, yeah, sure, let's do it. Why not?
I know, and it came out so fine. Of like I was expecting us to do that first and then we would talk about it, but it worked out the way it was supposed to.
Like I said, if you're watching this on video, her website name will be in the description, and you can go to her website for a session for Akashic record reading, or if you're interested in learning this, you can reach out to her. I'm assuming your email address is on there or contact form.
Yeah, it's 11 at leahraylight.com.
Okay,
Um, or
so
leahray13 at Gmail. But and I also do the QHHT. So I have that set up now too.
okay,
Um,
for QHHT, you're in Massachusetts.
I'm in Massachusetts, yeah.
Okay, so if you're in the area or if you're willing to venture out that way,
Right.
look
And then
her up.
I was told too, some people travel to do sessions and they're like, we can keep you in Florida because that's where my home base was for so long. And they're like, yeah, you can just tell people you'll do a few of them, in one day
Yeah,
or
traveling.
a few days. Yeah, and travel there. So I'm willing. Florida's always my home. So that would
There's a
be fun.
lady in New Orleans that does QHHT sessions for a certain time frame, and then she leaves and she goes to big Texas, if I ain't mistaken, Texas or the other state.
How
I don't,
beautiful.
I don't know. I don't think it's Georgia, but she goes to one of the other states, and then she comes back. So she rotates. So
Nice.
it could be done.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was thinking. I'm like, I'll be happy to go to Florida anytime.
Well, I'm gonna let you go. You have a good night and you take care. Don't hang up just yet.